Welcome to Blitzed and Amused episode 2. Here with Jaden once again.
You're
Um,
up, my guy.
Not much. Good weekend of football ish.
Yeah,
Not for you as much.
it was still a good week.
You wanna talk about that game first, or
We can. You want to start? You want me to start?
I want to hear your take on it, honestly. Being an Eagles fan.
Well, it was a very good start. I'm gonna say that. I mean, we go up 14 to nothing. Um, Jalen Hurts obviously goes down on a very good run play, but in my opinion, a dirty hit. Washington. Kenny Pickett came in and actually did what he needed to do. You know what I mean? Put up again over 26 points. I think the defense really let us down yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kenny Pickett had a halfway decent game actually. I mean, one pick, one interception, but threw for
Yeah,
143.
and a touchdown. Like
Yeah,
he did what a backup's supposed to do.
yeah, but yeah, 72 QBR, I think, which, I mean, for a backup, that's not bad. I've seen starting quarterbacks have like sub 50.
Yeah. What I don't understand is they changed the game plan completely. Kenny Pickett is a running quarterback, and you didn't fucking give him the chance to read option at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the issue with Sirianni. He has a tough time like navigating when like a starter gets hurt.
Yeah. Like if Saquon goes down, what are we gonna do with Kenny Gainwell? We're just gonna start throwing the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I think injuries and play calling might hinder you guys in the playoffs. I don't know how long Hurts is out. Did he get?
It was a concussion, but he said he was good right after the play. But since it was a head injury, they had to take him back.
Yeah, they're not. NFL's not going to take any chances with the whole like Tua thing happening,
Yeah, Nick
which I
Sirianni
get.
said anything to the head is out of their control.
Yeah, I mean that's good though. I mean, you guys are in the playoffs, and you're going to want Jalen Hurts to be like
Good.
fully healthy. I mean, depending on how this weekend goes with the Lions and Vikings, I mean, if we both win and we're playing for the number one seed,
Then it really
then
wouldn't have mattered.
yeah, I think you guys rest starters if both our teams win, or both
I
Lions and
do.
Vikings win.
I think we should rest our starters anyway, and we should let the Giants win.
You think
And I
so?
think I think we should take them out of the first pick contention.
Yeah, yeah,
But another thing that came out of that Eagles game is Dallas was eliminated even though we lost. So we still
yeah,
own Dallas. So
yeah. That's fair. Fuck Dallas.
yeah, for real.
Saquon had a day. 29 carries for 150 yards and two tuds. Um,
Uh, he had a half. I'll say that.
I mean, you guys just stalled out in that second half
Yeah, they
completely.
they started loading the box knowing Kenny Pickett can't throw the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
play well under pressure either.
I thought that too until I seen him get two fourth down conversions in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
A fourth and 7 to Devontae and a fourth and 9 AJ Brown. So he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, when you guys picked him up, I was actually hyped for that pickup. I mean, it's a good spot for him in Philadelphia. Obviously, if he had a better play caller than Sirianni, I think he'd do better, especially in this game. He's
I
good.
think
He's a great backup.
I think he's better than Mariota was last year.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, you know who else had a day? Speaking of that
Who
game,
else? Who else had it?
Jaden Daniels.
He did.
Jaden Daniels, 258 yards, five tuds. He did throw two picks. I'm guessing that was at the start of the game.
Um, one of them wasn't his fault. One of them was a bobbled pass.
Okay.
That Reed Blankenship came down with. Another one was just an overthrow to C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Okay. He did have 81 yards on the ground, too. So, altogether, like, we'll round up to like 260 and round down to 2 or 80. So, that's, I'm doing math here, like
Uh,
340 all purpose.
yeah, about 340.
Yeah, that's a game.
Um, we can also say that he was very clutch in that game. 22 fourth quarter points with a go-ahead touchdown with 10 seconds left to end it and ice the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's got my rookie of the year vote.
Yeah,
The only other contender for that would be Bo Nix.
and I feel like he's been kind of stalling out as of late.
I don't know. Didn't they? How'd their game go?
He played decent, but the defense gave up a 19-point lead, 11-point
Yeah,
lead.
that was the Thursday game.
Yeah,
That's gonna be interesting, that division. Whoever, because right now, Chargers have the tiebreaker over the Broncos, I think, and
yeah,
they're both
they just
nine
beat him.
and six.
Is there a way where they both get in?
I think so, just because of how weak the AFC is this year.
As of right now, they're
Um,
both in. The Broncos are the 7 and the Chargers are the 6.
Bo Nix actually had a fucking game too. Now that I'm looking at it, 29
All the
for 40, 263 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions.
all the Broncos need to do to get into the playoffs is win one more game because they're already 2 games ahead on the Colts.
Yeah. Going to the other side of that game, the Chargers. Herbert had a game. I mean, it wasn't as good as Bo Nix. He had 284 yards passing, two touchdowns, and a pick. That's the only reason why I say it wasn't better.
Is it safe to say that Justin Herbert has kind of regressed from last year?
Um, no, I think he's better than last year. He just doesn't have the receiving core he has last year.
He just doesn't have the weapons.
I mean, he has Lad McConkey and I guess Quentin has been playing good this year after his rookie season when everybody wrote him off. But
I was
I
gonna say last year he was dropping everything.
yeah, I don't know. I think you can't just judge a rookie after their first year. And that's kind of coming to fruition with like Baker coming into his own with Tampa Bay, Sammy having the year he's having,
I think it's also
Gino.
the
Gino's a big one.
situations that they're put in.
Yeah, I mean, you get the first pick because you're the worst team in the league. Like
Yeah, it's like the same thing.
obviously, if you take a quarterback, they're going into a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as Bryce Young. He had a terrible first year, and he's had really good games as of late.
Yeah. Bryson, they actually beat
The Cardinals.
the Cardinals, eliminated the Cardinals from playoff contention in the NFC.
Did you hear what Trey McBride said after the game?
No.
He said, "Them boys fucking suck. We're sorry as hell."
I mean, I love it. I love the shit talk.
I do.
Kyler having a okay game, typical Kyler day, I'd say. 202 yards, one tud, one pick. Um, yeah, there wasn't much good from that Cardinals team, I guess. Kyler had 63 yards on the ground and a tud.
I mean, James Conner, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he had a good day, I guess. Yeah, that was probably the
15,
bright spot.
170.
Bryce had himself, I wouldn't say a great day. I'd say a good day, just because they won.
I was gonna say, I think they
But
got more carried by Chuba Hubbard than anything.
yeah, 152 yards, two tuds. But I mean, he played well.
Yeah, he played enough to get the dub.
Yeah, Thielen with a touchdown. Shout out Minnesota.
Speaking of Minnesota,
Yeah,
how were you feeling during that game?
stressed, very stressed. I knew going into it, Seattle's playoff hungry. They were gonna. It's at their home field. Lumen Stadium is one of the loudest in the league, and they heard it. The Vikings heard it all game. Um, I mean, Sam with another great game. Honestly, I think it's his 12th game over 100 QBR this year,
Yeah.
which is insane. Yeah, 22 for 35. He threw the ball more than past games. And it was raining too. 246, three touchdowns, no interceptions.
I think the
Um,
story of this game is that Justin Jefferson is just a different human being.
yeah, that the corner room for Seattle is actually like good. It's one of the better corner rooms in the NFL,
I was
honestly.
gonna say it was one of the best a couple years ago when they were young and up and coming.
Yeah, you got Tariq Woolen and Devon Weatherspoon. Is it Devon or Devon?
I think it's Devon.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson, 10 receptions on 13 targets, 144 yards, and two touchdowns. That twisting catch to get us that last touchdown to give us the lead. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh my god, it was insane. Like two defenders, Sammy put it over both of them. Justin Jefferson did like a 360 mid-air and caught it as he was like doing a 360.
God damn.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, two tuds. Addison had 35 yards and a touchdown. His touchdown in the end zone was kind of a gimme. It was like a curl route, like a sit in that soft spot of the zone on the goal line.
I think the most important thing to actually come out of that game is you guys are still in contention for the #1 seed.
Yeah, definitely. This Packers game is going to be another test. I talked about it last episode with our last three games of the season just being a gauntlet, and we made it through the first game. I said we just need to scrape by. It doesn't have to be pretty, and it was not. I think Seattle is just. I don't want to see them in the playoffs just because I know what they can do. Kenneth Walker was a big story in that one. I don't know if it was third quarter. He went out with an ankle injury. Like he hobbled off to the sideline and he didn't return.
Damn.
What's this dude's name? Kenny McIntosh. Normally their third string running back got more carries than Charbonnet. Charbonnet only got one carry.
Wow.
Yeah, and when Kenneth Walker went out, they leaned on Kenny McIntosh, who this season, I think he's a rookie. I think he might be a second year player, but he only had like 15 carries this whole season, and he got
You got 3 in this game.
yeah, it looks like he had 3, but he made them count. He was actually pretty decent for him.
I was gonna say, it looked like you guys stopped the run really fucking well in that game.
We do that every week, which is I don't know. We stop the run well. We let up a lot of pass yards, but we get takeaways. Like Gino throw 2 picks. The last one to seal the game was just him and I think it was DK just not on the same page at all. DK was supposed to run a comeback and he thought he was running a streak, and Gino just tossed it up. And yeah, I think my favorite part of the game was Dallas Turner. He didn't do much. He had a tackle, but he also had an interception.
Get an interception?
Yeah, yeah. He floated off of his D end position and floated out into the flat and read Gino like a book.
Dude, those are my favorite when the D linemen finally get to have some fun.
I know. Well, I mean, he's left outside linebacker, but he's an edge rusher. It's Dallas Turner.
It's like Van Ginkel, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's a linebacker, but he normally rushes off the edge.
yeah. The other interception for us was Theo Jackson.
I don't even know who that is.
I think he was undrafted. We might have drafted him late round. He's been in the league a couple years for us, but yeah. Altogether, I mean, Aaron Jones had 67 yards. You know, that's just I don't know. It was a tough game. It was gritty, very gritty.
Yeah. But I also think that's kind of how Vikings games are.
Yeah, I mean, this season it almost hasn't felt like that.
I was gonna say, there's games where you win by 30, there's games where you win by 20, but then you get those games that go down to the last second and you win by 3 or by 1.
It's good to know, like getting this close to playoffs, that Seattle is they deserve playoffs. They're playing like it, and it's good to know that we can like shut the door on those playoff caliber teams if we need to in those close games.
We talked about you guys playing the run very well. Have you played like a run heavy team? Like a Ravens or
There's a car horn just.
what the fuck? What is that?
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
They're just driving down my street, honking their horn. All right, cool. Looking back at it, I mean, they're still honking. What the fuck is happening? All right.
Cut that out.
Welcome to. I'm not cutting that out. Welcome to Minnesota.
But how do you guys think you would fare up against those type of teams if you haven't played them already? I don't think you have. You played the Cardinals, I guess, with James Conner, but
I mean,
like
we
the
had the
Eagles and
Falcons with
Saquon.
Bijan.
But like the Eagles with Saquon, or if you
I
guys make
mean,
it to the Super Bowl and you play Derrick Henry and the Ravens.
yeah, I don't know. Our interior has been like we made some changes. We went with that guy out of Oklahoma. Why am I blanking on his name? Um, let me go down to the defense here. I'll find it.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna be much help to you on Vikings defensive players.
Yeah, Jalen Redmond out of Oklahoma, undrafted free agent. I don't know why, but Quasey just finds these gems that are undrafted, and he has stepped up big. He's a big boy. And I mean, we stopped the run okay against Atlanta. I mean, we held Bijan to 92 yards and a tud, but that's just Bijan, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see how they fare against like a very run heavy team. If we play the Eagles, Saquon's still gonna get his. I bet Saquon has 150 yards on us.
Well, so like that's why I asked, because Saquon has had the game against the Steelers where he had 60 some yards, no touchdowns, couldn't get anything going really. But then he played the Ravens, the number one rush defense at the time, and put up over 120 and a touchdown on him.
I think it's just like one of those days, you know.
I was gonna say, like, he could come out, he could rush for 200, or he could come out and he could rush for 20.
Yeah. Um, I feel like it's just such a if they're having a day, they're having a day. There's nothing you really can do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Speaking of having a day, um, there's one game I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, Tua kind of looking like his old self again. Dolphins crushed the Niners, 29 to
No,
17. Devon Achane had 120 yards and a tud.
I'm very happy that that happened. Because I feel like, especially as of recent years, as an Eagles fan, the Niners are kind of becoming like the Cowboys to me. They're
I
just
don't
always
know.
around.
I don't know. I've had like I go on like TikTok or whatever, and my TikTok's full of like football shit. And I saw one today. It's like since the Niners are out, it's this Niners fan posting, and he's like, since the Niners are out, we're riding with one team and one team only, and it was the Vikings. Which I mean, they hate the Packers, so I mean, I guess I get it.
Yeah. So
Um,
there's one game I wanted to talk about because I thought it was going to be more important than it really was, but I don't think it was really that important, and it was the Falcons game.
yeah, that's what I was gonna go to next.
Yeah, with Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, Penix. He didn't throw a tud. He threw a pick. I mean, the pick he threw. Did you see the clip of that?
I did.
Not his fault at all. Literally, I don't know who it was, but they just lateraled it to the DB. It was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in the NFL since butt fumble.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. The Falcons crushed the Giants. I don't. Are
But I also think that that was kind of expected.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I still don't see the Falcons winning that division. They could sneak into the playoffs. It'd be tough for them. They're gonna have to have a lot go right for them.
Well, I think as of right now they're tied with the Bucks, but they have a tiebreaker because they swept them.
Yeah,
So I think as of right now they control their own destiny when it comes to playoffs.
yeah. Did the Bucks win?
No, they lost to the Cowboys on Sunday night.
Oh yeah, that was close. That was close. Baker had a
They
pretty
almost
good
came
day.
back.
Yeah,
They almost came back.
Cooper Rush had. Cooper Rush was amazing. Oh my God,
Yeah,
292 and a tud.
that's not the Cooper Rush that we know.
That's the Cooper Rush that Vikings fans know.
Not me, I guess.
CD 105 yards on 7 receptions. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Tampa Bay. What's the rest of their schedule looking like? They play the Panthers. That's divisional, so I mean that could go either way. The way Bryce is playing,
Yeah.
um, that'll be tough. The Vikings and Packers game actually got flexed for next week
Really? When is it
to
now?
4:30.
You got a 4:30 game now?
Yeah,
When was it supposed to be?
noon. I think it's
Oh
three
shit.
thirty. It might be like I saw the tweet from Schefter.
Low-key, I think we got flexed for each other.
Did we?
The Eagles game's on at 1 now. Or at noon, I guess.
Here, I screenshotted the tweet. Um, yep, Cowboys Eagles shifted to noon. We're shifted to 3:25.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Schefter's comments, the only replies I'm seeing is please give an update on Hurts.
I do believe he'll be back next week. He tried to get up after the hit and put a thumbs up, but
Yeah.
the ref was basically like, "Get the fuck out of my face."
Yeah. I don't know. The Bucks have the Panthers, and then week 18 they're gonna have the Saints. So 2 divisional games to end off the season. Falcons get Panthers week 18, and the Falcons get where they at? The Commanders this week
Yeah.
in Washington
Really hope Atlanta can come out with a dub.
in prime time.
Uh.
Yeah, we'll see.
But also, a team that I've been so critical on this entire season, the Kansas City motherfucking Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah,
And I understand that like the Texans aren't the Texans they were last year, but they're still the Texans.
yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for the Chiefs to put up 30. I think
They
everybody
still haven't
is.
done that all year, have they?
No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Pat Mahomes is going to be Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, so
They put up 30 one time against the Buccaneers.
yeah. Did they?
Or three. They put up 33 times or twice this season. Against the Bucks and against the Panthers.
Okay. Yeah, that Panthers game was really close.
I
I don't
really
know.
wish.
Again, with the Chiefs, there's just so much situational stuff that could have like went wrong for them that went right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It almost. I don't want to say it because they have Pat Mahomes. You know, he's just a dog. But it almost feels like the 2022 Vikings. Like all these one-score games that you're winning, and you. I don't want to say get lucky, but you just win those close games. You can call it gritty, but I don't know. It's obviously different because they have Mahomes, but
See, I think the one thing that I'm very excited to see is when the playoffs start, if the coaching and quarterback that you want in the playoffs can actually perform as they should be doing in the regular season.
yeah. Um, Bengals smoke the Browns. I don't know if the Bengals are out yet for the playoffs, are they? They'd have to have a lot go right, obviously, but
I think they need to win out and they need the Broncos to lose one. It would push the Broncos out and they would get in,
okay.
I believe.
Yeah, Rams crushed the Jets. I watched that game. Stafford really didn't even have that good of a game. Threw the ball 19 times, 110 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. Kyron Williams, 122 yards and a touchdown. It was just, I don't know. The Jets are. Aaron Rodgers passed for 256 yards and a touchdown, but I don't know. It's like they didn't have a ground game against the Rams, which seems to be a pattern with the Rams. They're very good. Their D line is like scary against the run.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many yards did Saquon have against them.
Against who again?
Rams.
I believe it was. Was that the game he had over 200?
Was it?
He had 255, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 9.8 a carry.
Yeah, Saquon deserves Offensive Player of the Year if he doesn't get MVP. But
I'm gonna be honest with you. So that was the next thing I was gonna cover because we talked about MVP last week. Josh Allen this week only 161 yards and a touchdown and a narrow win against the Patriots. While
Again,
Lamar Jackson beats the Steelers by 17.
yeah, I don't know. I always say divisional games are just tough for no reason, you know?
I said it. I said it last week. I don't think Lamar's going to get it because of voter fatigue, and they don't want to give him 3 in a row. Even though, as of right now, these last few weeks, he has been looking like MVP. I
Yeah,
know Josh Allen's Josh Allen. He's going to do Josh Allen things, but oh man,
it's gonna come down between the two of them. It's
I
like a
I was gonna
foot
say one of
race, and
them.
they're tied.
I think one of them is going to win MVP, and if whoever doesn't win MVP is getting Offensive Player of the Year. And I don't think Saquon's walking away with anything.
I think Saquon's walking away with Offensive Player of the Year. That's my pick.
I did look up how many yards he had because I wanted to know if he was close to getting the record.
The
He
single
has
season
almost,
record.
yeah,
What's
he
he
has
at?
18. He's at 1,838 rushing yards, over 1,940 all-purpose yards. He needs to average 140, 42 yards, I think, to get the record.
I
Next two
mean,
games
if
against the
he if he
Cowboys and the
pops
Giants.
if he pops off against either of those two teams, I think he can break it. Which, if he breaks it, he better get MVP.
But
Just
it's like
because
it,
2012 AP almost broke it and still got MVP, you know?
yeah. But it's also like if he gets it, there's going to be an asterisk behind it because 17 games instead of
Yeah,
16 for Eric Dickerson.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Those are two pretty favorable teams to be running the ball against this season.
Yeah.
I think they're two of the worst against the run, if I'm not mistaken.
Honestly, I
Um,
kind of just want him to go in and fucking dominate New York.
yeah, yeah. It'd be nice. Is that in New York?
No, it's at home, I believe.
Yeah, you guys already played New York. In New
Yeah.
York.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, the last two games of the season for the Eagles are at home.
It'd be cool if he beat it, but
I think it'd be legendary, honestly. First season without the Giants.
yeah.
Everybody said it was a bad signing. He comes in, fucking does his thing.
Everybody said that was a bad signing.
Yeah, a lot of people were giving him criticism because he was always hurt.
I guess. I don't know. I thought it was a great signing for you guys.
I thought it was a great sign. I mean, I only thought it was a great signing because, like, that's a household name, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's motherfucking Saquon Barkley. You want that guy on your team.
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. We're recording this before the Monday night game, the Saints and Packers.
But I think we all know who should come away with the win there.
The Packers should win that handily, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be another juggernaut matchup game between us and the Packers, because we're rolling right now. We have, what is it now, 8 straight wins. I think
Something
the
like that.
Vikings have 8 straight because we went 5-0, lost 2, and now we're 13-2. Yeah, so 8 straight. And the Eagles before this game were on like what, 10?
Yeah, they were on a 10.
Yeah. So if the Vikings if we beat the Packers and we beat the Lions, O'Connell and the rest of the team have been saying, like, everybody's asking them, like, oh, how do you think the Week 18 matchup's going to go for the number 1 seed? And O'Connell's just like, we got to go 1-0 to go 2-0. That's kind of like the whole Vikings mentality, is you got one game at a time, which I'm loving. We're not looking ahead of anybody. And we're not going to prepare for the Lions and the Packers week, you know, because if we do that, then we're going to get shit on by the Packers, and we can't look ahead. You can't look
Yeah.
ahead against anybody, you know?
I was going to say, you got to just play one game at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think the Saints-Packers game is actually going to be very telling on where the Packers are at. I think they are a great team this year, as much as that pains me to say. But, yeah, I don't know. It just depends. The Saints, they're kind of they're about to head into a rebuild, I think.
Yeah?
There is a lot of injuries both sides. The Packers are without Quay Walker. Jair's questionable, like always. But the big story for New Orleans is Kamara is out. I think he's out the rest of the season. Olave's out. Obviously, Derek Carr's out.
I mean, they're not really playing for much anymore anyway.
No. No, they aren't. They're 5-9. So I
And
mean,
I think they're are they going with Radler over Hayner?
I would hope so.
Because Hayner was they went with him for I think a half, and he was abysmal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd hope Radler would get a chance to just finish out this season, see what he's got, and I mean, honestly, I think Carr's back next year for them. Um, but if Radler
Yep.
plays well, it might be a whole like Cousins Penix situation where you got I don't know who's gonna be better for the team, you know?
That was gonna be a thing I asked as well because I seen that they were going with Penix for the remainder, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you think Kirk Cousins returns to the Atlanta Falcons next year?
If Penix plays well these last 2 weeks and they get into the playoffs, no.
You think they drop him?
Yeah. I think they take their cut like the Broncos took with Russell Wilson, and depending on where the Giants land, I think he could end up in New York. Raiders, I think they're playing for the number one pick, so it'll be hard to see them.
Well, they won. They won this
They
week.
they did win. I don't think there's any 2-win teams though. Like the
The
Jaguars are
Giants,
3-12. Are they 2-win?
they're 2-13. That's why I said they have the number one pick.
So yeah, Shadur could go to. I don't think Shadur's worthy of a number one pick though. Like I love Shadur. I love Shadur,
I,
but
I think that Dion will do the same thing that happened with Eli. He will say he not going there,
yeah,
and I think that they will take Cam Ward.
that would
And
be that would be cool.
I like Cam Ward.
I do too. You
I
won't if
do
he gets
believe.
drafted by the Giants.
Um, see that's the thing is I like having. I've never had a competitive division really. Like it's always been two teams that are good.
Cowboys,
Whether it's
Eagles, or Cowboys, Giants.
Cowboys Commanders like 1 year I think in
2018.
I believe that's when it was, and the Eagles missed because they were trash as fuck that year after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then I think the next year as well was Cowboys Commanders. But
Yeah.
it's always been two teams. You know, we've never had three good teams really, or even four good teams.
Dude, speaking of that division thing, like the a division just being good,
Yeah.
what is happening in the North?
Dude, it's kind of fucking insane.
Three at least 10-win teams.
It's crazy
Which
as well
by
because
the end of the season, we could have three 12-win teams or even 13-win teams.
out of those three teams, my entire childhood growing up, there's only been one that has ever been really, really good, and that was the Packers.
I mean, the Vikings have always been good or really good. It's just never been like, I guess last year was bad, but Kirk went
Huh.
down and we were rolling with fucking Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins.
I was gonna say like making it to the game and being able to win the game.
Yeah.
That was the Packers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Lions, no, they weren't shit growing up for me.
I mean, late 2000s, the Bears were good. I mean, Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford for the Lions.
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester, yeah, I loved Devin Hester growing up. I remember always crying when the Bears beat the Vikings because I'd have to go to school every day and hear it from someone we know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to school those days, but yeah, that Bears defense was just insane. Jay Cutler was good. I remember they had Matt Forte. He was an
He was
animal.
crazy.
He was an animal.
He was crazy.
The whole like North as a whole then had like crazy running backs because
That's the thing is like they had like three or four huge, amazing name players, but like the rest of the team was dog. Like nobody knew them, nobody cared.
yeah,
At least for the Bears and Lions, like they had Megatron, they had a Lodi Nada,
yeah,
Matthew Stafford.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. The Packers then I'm thinking like 2007 around the time I started watching. I started watching like '06. So, they just had amazing receivers. They didn't even need a run game because they had '07. They would have still had Favre, um,
Jennings.
Greg Jennings, Donald Driver.
Yeah, the tight end. Was that the tight end?
Donald Driver is a wide receiver.
Okay. Who was their tight end?
Their tight end, it was Donald Lee in 2007.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, I know they had Why am I blanking on his name? I think you're thinking of like the 2011 Packers.
Is that the year they won the Super Bowl?
Yes, I want to say. I
Because they
think
had
so. Yeah.
that controversial playoff pick / touchdown
Yeah.
against the Seahawks. Yeah.
Yeah, because that 2011 team had Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Jermichael
The,
Finley. That was
my
their tight
white
end.
goat.
Yeah, that was an insane team. I mean, the
Jordy.
defense: B.J. Raji, Howard Green, Clay Matthews, A.J. Hawk, Desmond Bishop, Charles Woodson.
Hey, controversial, but Jordy Nelson is just a better Lad McConkey.
Controversial, but Jordy Nelson and Lad McConkey are just worse Adam Thielens.
Really? You believe that?
No.
I
No.
would say
I
Jordy
think,
Nelson was that guy.
yeah, Thielen was too for a while, though.
He
Thielen was
was,
too.
but see, I think he was always the Robin. He was never the Batman until he got to
Yeah.
Carolina.
I mean, Jefferson's first year, he was the Batman.
Thielen or Jefferson?
Thielen. Jefferson was our wide receiver too that year. But
See,
I
I
think
think
he
on
was
the
still
depth
over
chart, that's
1,000.
true.
Yeah, on the depth chart.
Yeah.
I think Thielen out received Diggs 1 year. I think it was the 2017, not the 2017 year.
That was a good year, though.
That was a very good year for both of us. I remember I'd pick you up for school every day, and we'd just talk football the whole way there, and we're like, "Fuck, we're in the NFC Championship against each other." And then we talk shit, and we know how that went.
Philly.
Yeah, Nick Foles, you know.
Man, Doug Peterson has some balls to call that play.
He did. Yeah, he did.
That's
Oh
crazy.
my god. Yeah. It's sad. Speaking of Doug Peterson, I think he's on the hot seat.
Yeah,
Big time.
and
I don't think it's his fault.
I mean, it makes sense, though.
I don't think it's his fault at all. That Jaguars team just doesn't have the roster to compete.
Which is honestly super fucking weird.
I know they were good for the first half last year, and it's all fallen apart since then.
Yeah, I want to
People
know
are
what happened.
questioning Trevor Lawrence. I mean, who are his receivers? Who does he have besides Brian Thomas, a rookie who's been a top 10 receiver this year in his rookie season?
Honestly, I don't really. Pretty sure they have who the fuck was
Ridley.
on the
They have Ridley.
Gabe Davis. They got Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis. Ridley. That's not a bad receiving core.
Hey, Calvin Ridley's on the Titans.
He was on the Jags last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's on the Titans this year.
Yeah. You're right. He still doesn't have a bad receiving core, though. I don't know. I don't know if it's their O-line or if it's their defense letting up a shit ton of points, but I kind of miss that. Speaking of 2017, the Jaguars were insane, too.
Dude, fuck Blake Bortles.
His one good year.
This motherfucker took away the stupidest Super Bowl in the world.
We could have had either a Nick Foles Blake Bortles Super Bowl or a Case Keenum Blake Bortles Super Bowl. They had to sneak Tom Brady in there. I'm not big on conspiracies around the NFL, but I think the Jags took a dive there.
Man, I just wanted Blake Bortles to win just so it would have been an easier Super Bowl for us. Like, if we putting up 41 on the Patriots, we putting up 87 on the Jaguars that year.
That Jags defense was better than that Patriots defense. That was prime Jalen Ramsey.
Man, and AJ Bouye.
Prime Calais Campbell.
Whatever happened to AJ Bouye, bro?
I don't know.
He had that one good year, and just like I never heard of him again. I never heard him again.
Yeah, I don't know. You want to do a quick little power ranking?
I'm down.
After this week?
I'm down.
All right. Do you want to go from 1 to 10? Or do you want to go from 10 to 1?
We can go 1 to 10. It don't really matter to me.
Okay. I still think 1. Or no, it's going to be different. I think the Bills are 1 now with the Eagles' loss. Jalen Hurts healthy, they're 1. But just going off of, like, the games played last week. Or last week, because we're talking, yeah. You get it.
Yeah, I think the Bills are one as well. Jalen Hurts, he is the engine that drives that team, and I don't think anybody understands that in the mainstream media.
No, there's a lot of Jalen Hurts hate, which I don't
Yeah,
understand. He does have his stinkers, but
he does. He does. He sometimes is a turnover machine, but when he doesn't turn the ball over, he can't pass the ball. When he can't pass the ball, he doesn't run the ball. It's always something.
yeah, I don't know. I can tell you confidently, though, that every defense in the NFL is never excited to play the Eagles.
No.
Yeah,
Number two, Eagles. So Bills,
yeah,
Eagles,
I'd
1-2.
agree with that. Yeah.
Number three for me is the Lions.
You know, I'll agree with you there. Yeah, the defense is still scaring me.
Yeah,
Um,
but they're still able to put up 35, 40 points a game.
yeah, they did halfway shut down the Bears. Um, Caleb Williams had 334 yards and 2 touchdowns with no picks.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, he definitely showed that you can throw the ball on them very simply.
Yeah, which I mean is kind of giving me hope for the Vikings week 18. Not to look ahead to it, we got to see how the Packers game shakes out, obviously. But if
Yeah.
we can get through the Packers, I mean, it might be like a Sammy Torch game, you know?
Honestly, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawkins Hawk, I feel like Sammy D gonna have about 400 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't know. If we lose to the Packers and the Lions win one more,
Do you think you'll just rest your starters,
I think they will.
or you think they will?
We might too. I don't
Because
know.
would they have it locked up? Because would
I
they
think
have the
if
tiebreaker on you,
yeah. Well,
even if you beat them in that second game?
I think we have to win out.
Well, you would. So you would, if they win and then they lose, they would be 14-3. If you lose and then you win, you would be.
Yeah,
But
I don't
and
know.
you have the harder strength schedule, which is why if everybody won out, wouldn't you get first seed anyway?
Yeah, because if we win out, we get first seed no matter what. Even with without the Eagles loss this week, if they would have won, we still would have got the first seed. I don't
Did
know
they
how
beat
that
you?
all shakes out, but
Did they beat you in Minnesota?
the Lions
Yeah,
by 2.
it was in Minnesota though.
Yeah, so we got to go to Detroit, which is going to be hell.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work then.
I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Um, yeah. So
So
Lions
Bills,
3,
Eagles, Lions.
Chiefs 4.
Putting Chiefs 4?
Yeah, I mean they're
No.
they're they're still the only one-loss team in the league. They know how to win close games. They got Pat Mahomes. It's hard to put them like anywhere lower for me at least because I'm not going to put the Vikings over them yet. Not yet. If we
Okay.
beat the Packers, they're over them. But I don't know. The it always feels like the Vikings need to prove something more. I don't know if I'm being like a critical fan or what, but I don't know. If we get through this Packers game, they're ahead of the Chiefs for me. It's if the Chiefs throw, unless the Chiefs beat somebody by like 40, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Which the
But
Chiefs, they got the Steelers next week on Christmas, Wednesday. So we're recording this on Monday. 2 days they get the Steelers, and they just played yesterday.
um, I'll agree with you on that. Actually, I'll put the Chiefs at 4.
Yeah.
I do believe that they can win close games, but I also believe that they can put up points necessary to win as well.
Yeah. So 5, I got the Vikings.
Yep, that's exactly where I had them.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the Vikings a lot on this. We talk about the Eagles a lot on this. Um, really, I don't know. I think if the Vikings beat the Packers, they might jump into the top 3 for me.
So you think they would be over the Lions if they beat the Packers?
It depends on how the Lions game goes this week.
I was gonna say, so like if the Lions win but the Eagles lose, the Vikings would jump the Eagles,
Yeah, because
right?
the Lions would have the Niners
Now that's not even
next
that hard
week,
of a game. If they lose, I'm sad.
and that's
Like I'm
Monday.
like I'm happy, but if they lose, I'm sad.
That is exactly a week from today. And it is in San Francisco. So That could be a trap game for the Lions, honestly. Um, yeah, if we lose to the Packers, I'm going to be a 49ers fan for sure. But I think if we lose to the Packers and the Lions lose, they still get it, even if we win, just because we would have dropped another divisional game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to beat the Packers. Packers week, hate week.
Is that how it is every year?
Yeah,
At least
it's
at least two
like the
weeks a year is
cowboy.
hate
It's
week.
like the Cowboys for you.
Yeah, but see, like the first time around, it wasn't no hate week. It was Cooper Rush's first NFL start. I knew it was gonna be a dog walk, bro.
Yeah.
I was going into that game excited. I wasn't mad. I wasn't like, let's beat their ass. I was like, let's fucking kill them.
Um, Another Christmas game. The other one. Um, I guess we can get into that after the power rankings.
So we're at 6 right now.
Yep, I'm putting the Packers.
I was gonna say it's either the Packers or the Ravens. Yeah, I'll go with the Packers.
Yeah, I think the Packers just edge out the Ravens in that. I'm putting Ravens at 6.
Yep. Or 7, because the Vikings
Yeah,
are at
7.
5.
7. My bad. 7.
Yeah.
Ravens at
Yeah.
7.
I'm gonna say the Commanders at 8.
I will too. I
Yeah.
really like Jalen Hurts' performance. The
Jalen
defense
Hurts,
is getting stronger. I mean,
Jaden Daniels.
yeah, just Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels is such an animal, dude.
yeah, he's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie.
He is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, to be
Dude, I'm
honest.
mad. I wish the Bears would have took Jaden Daniels,
So
and
you
then
get Caleb Williams.
the Commanders would have took Caleb Williams. I'd rather have Caleb Williams, man.
Caleb's having a great year too, though.
Caleb is having a good year, but I don't think Caleb Williams is doing what Jaden Daniels is doing with the Commanders. And I think
No,
it proves it. I think that the Bears do have a better roster on paper
on paper,
than the
yeah,
Commanders. Yeah, like not they ain't performing, but on paper they have a better roster.
yeah. Who you got at 8?
Um. Oh, I want to say the Steelers, but I don't want to say the Steelers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Chargers at 8.
Yeah.
It's a little different than mine.
Who's at 8 for you?
Broncos.
You got the Broncos.
Even though they
I was,
lost,
I was gonna say I'm gonna have the Broncos at 9.
I'm gonna have the Chargers at 9. I still think the Broncos. It's so tough. It could go either way.
It really can.
Um, we'll just, yeah. I don't know. Those two are 8 and 9 respectively, whichever way you want to look at it.
I was gonna say it's
Um,
very, very interchangeable for those
I
two.
think the Broncos have had a more impressive year altogether than the Chargers, even with this loss against them head to head.
Well, I think going into the season, the Chargers were like supposed to be a lock for playoffs.
Yeah, now they're fighting for one of the last seeds in the AFC.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's another division that could have potentially 3 playoff teams with
Yep.
the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers.
I was gonna say I think they all just need. I think they basically just need the Colts, Bengals, and Dolphins to lose next week. And they're in.
Yep. Um,
I think 10 is kind of just guaranteed Steelers.
I'd put Steelers at 11.
Who you putting at 10?
Rams.
You putting the Rams? Damn. I do understand that though, because the Rams are a sneaky good ass team.
Yeah, they're gonna. I'm afraid to see them in the playoffs. Um, yeah, they. It's just Matt Stafford, you know.
Yeah. And Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Yeah,
They can put up points when they need to.
nothing against the year Russell Wilson's had. I mean, he was not the problem in Denver.
Yeah.
It's just him and Sean Payton didn't get along. Sean Payton didn't like him, I don't think, and Sean Payton got the quarterback he wanted that fit his play style, and it's been working.
Yeah. I think the Steelers edge out um the Rams for me because I'm a defensive minded coach. Like I like defense way more than I like offense, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, that's another interchangeable one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. Obviously, The Steelers get the Chiefs on Christmas in 2 days. That'll be very telling. Um, we'll see how that goes. I hope Russell Wilson just walks them. Honestly, I hope this is where we see the Chiefs like not true colors. I'm not preying on the Chiefs' downfall, obviously, because
Yeah.
I like Pat Mahomes. He's so fun to watch, but
He's honestly like a genuinely good dude as well.
he is. He is. And the fact he sounds like Kermit the Frog is just a bonus. But
uh,
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of really fun games coming up this week. Obviously, you got Packers Vikings. That's got big playoff implications.
yeah.
For both teams. I mean, if we beat the Packers, then the Packers, and if we beat the Packers, then they're still pretty much a lock for that 6th seed because if we beat the Lions, then the Lions are obviously going to be 5th.
I was gonna
But
say, do the Packers still have a chance to get the number 1 seed?
not at all. No. No, because Detroit would have it over them because they got swept by Detroit.
Oh, okay.
And even if they won out, they would be
It'd be
they still
12.
got. They'd be
Is it 3
13 and
games?
4. Yeah, they
Yeah,
still
they,
have the
they play
Monday night
tonight.
game. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
they
was
play.
fucking me up looking at their record. Um, if they win out, Lions would still win it, and the Packers would jump us for the 5th seed, and we'd be the 6th seed. Which it's nice to know. 13 wins on lock by week 17 or by week 16 is insane to think about as a Vikings fan. That doesn't come around too often for us.
Yeah.
And even I've been telling everyone, they're like, "Oh, so it's Super Bowl or bust this year." And I'm like, I never think about it that way as a Vikings fan. It's just nice to enjoy the ride. It's been a really fun season.
I'm glad that that's how you can look at it. But
And I mean, obviously, making the playoffs is not a win for me. I still want to see them make a deep run into the Super Bowl. That's the goal
yeah,
every year. But I
yeah.
don't know. With how much disappointment I've gone through in my life watching this team, and how much disappointment I'm sure the people who've been watching them since like the '60s have gone through. They've gone through way more than me. I wasn't even born for the Gary Anderson miss and that '98 season where the Vikings that was their year. 100%. That offense was the most prolific offense in NFL history. Also, thank you for Randall Cunningham.
Is he good for you guys?
Yeah, that '98 season.
Oh. See, like I think I got really big into football like in 2015. I didn't really
That's
watch
it?
before that. Yeah, I wasn't. Like, I was an Eagles fan because I played Madden a fuck ton. So
Yeah,
I would use the Eagles every single time I played Madden, no
like
matter what.
McNabb and Vic.
Yeah, but I never really watched because we didn't really have cable like when I was growing up, so I just
Yeah,
never watched. I was like, fuck it.
that's
But
fair.
when I got money and I started working my own job and I could actually pay for like streaming services, I
Yeah.
started watching games and I was like, dude, these Eagles, they're a pretty fun team every year,
Well, you come
whether
over
they
to my
win or
place and watch
lose.
football too.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
pretty big NFC East matchup this week as well for the Eagles.
yeah, yeah,
If they
definitely.
if they beat the Cowboys, they guarantee to win the NFC East.
And that is in Philly, so the
Yes,
streets of
sir.
Philly will have a celebration on their hands.
Man, that's one thing I love about Philly is like they are super passionate. Like the fans are super passionate about football.
They are. They're a very hardcore fan base.
Really, they
Um,
really are.
very much so. I will say there are some fans in the Eagles fan base that give them a bad reputation, but I've met a lot of
Some
Eagles fans, and a lot of them are really cool people. And
man,
you can
there's
say that about any fan base, though. There's always going to be assholes.
I was talking about this just a couple days ago actually when the Eagles were 2-2 and they beat the Browns. We beat the Browns, and everybody in Philadelphia or Lincoln Financial Field was saying "Fire Sirianni." They were chanting "Fire Sirianni"
Yep.
after a win. We won. What are you
Dude, the
doing?
last time I heard coaching fire chants at least I've heard like live in a game that I was watching was when we had Brad Childress as our coach and the fans started chanting "Fire Childress," which we did. We did. But I don't know. It's so tough. The team that Sirianni has is so good that it kind of carries itself, but Sirianni to me is just a very questionable play caller, and it kind of showed with Kenny Pickett
Yeah.
not being able to adjust to what he can do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's gonna be we're gonna see how it goes in the playoffs. Obviously, I mean it'll be
I do
very interesting.
I do think that the Eagles have enough talent, whatever you want to say, to carry them at least to the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
But for everybody who is watching and listening to fucking media is that this season is Super Bowl or bust because we just signed Saquon Barkley for $13 million, and it's like you added that running back with them receivers and that tight end and that quarterback, you need to win.
yeah, definitely. There's no excuses for Sirianni.
Not even a little bit.
No, and I think if you guys get bounced first round, I think he's got to go.
See, I can't say that. He is one of the winningest coaches in the NFL right now. I
I
think
think
he's like,
he's up there with O'Connell and
I was gonna say, I think he's like 43-16
yeah.
in his coaching career.
Let me look up O'Connell's is insane too. Um, Let me do the math here.
Math wasn't your
Um,
strong suit.
I had it till you talked. I think he's like 33 and right now like 16, 17 in 3 years.
That's not bad.
No. I mean, the first season he had the Vikings 13 and 4, you know, we
I was
got the second seed, I think. Cuz did you guys have yeah, that was your guys' Super Bowl run.
Yeah, with when we went against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, my bad. Um yeah. That I don't know. The whole Sirianni situation to me is just you got to see if you guys get bounced for there's no excuse for you guys to get bounced first round.
Yeah.
And it's looking like you guys are going against the Packers,
Commanders as of right now.
Commanders as of right now. Yeah, you guys would have the 7th seed. Never mind.
And see, the
Um
thing about that is, if we had Jalen Hurts in that game, I solely believe that we win that game
yeah.
this last Sunday. So I think in playoffs in Philly, I think it's we fucking beat them by 30.
Yeah, so let me pull up the playoff picture here.
Fuck, if Kenny Pickett can put up 32 points, Jalen Hurts should have put up like 50.
Okay. So, I don't think there was much change in the AFC besides the Chargers and Broncos swapping the 6th and 7th seed. Colts are on the bubble, but they're like 2.5 games behind, I think. Um, wow, 5 AFC teams have already clinched a playoff spot, though.
Yeah. I'm
Chiefs,
saying it's just
Bills,
that
Steelers, Texans, Ravens.
I really hope the Bengals can get in, honestly.
The NFC playoff picture, I don't think changed all that much.
I think the only thing that changed is the Bucks got bounced and the Falcons got put in.
Yeah, yeah. Did the Rams have the 3 seed last week when we talked about it,
Um,
or was
well,
it the Seahawks?
I think the Seahawks and Cardinals both lost while the Rams won.
I think the Seahawks were just outside on the bubble. I think they were 8. But yeah, the Bucks got bounced out to the bubble. They're 8th seed right now. And yeah, they're gonna have to win that division to even sniff the playoffs. So it's the Falcons' division to lose right now. Um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's definitely
Oh,
going to be interesting. Commanders at Philly for a third time this year would be a very fun playoff game.
it would be. I really don't want to see it happen, but it would be a fun game.
Yeah, Rams, Packers right now, which that would be a fun one also. And then right now, as it's shaping up, it would be Minnesota in Atlanta.
You want that?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think with your guys' defense, you're going to be able to rattle Penix real quick.
Yeah, and if Kirk goes in, he's going to be seeing more ghosts.
That's Sam Darnold, though.
Not anymore.
He's the one
Maybe
creating.
for like 4 or 5 weeks this season, but
I was like, he's the one creating the ghosts now. He is the Tom Brady this year.
yeah, don't say that. Don't say that.
Man, he gonna win MVP. Y'all gonna go undefeated.
If we lose, I'm blaming it on you.
That's okay. I'll take it.
But yeah, I don't know. Playoffs again. It's gonna be a fun year for football. Very fun year. And like last year, that wasn't fun for me.
It wasn't?
Not at all.
Why not?
Because we had Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins heading our quarterback room.
Man, those are like the two most perfect dudes to do it.
Sure. I'm sure you want to forget last season too.
You know, after week 11, I'll forget it. I'll forget it.
Yeah.
Up to week 11 when we were 10-0. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I bet it was.
It was pretty fun.
Normally we see like someone go on a really big run at the start of the year. Obviously the Chiefs have been doing it, but like a 10-0 run or something. That didn't even come close to happening.
Not really.
Cuz what week did the Bills beat the Chiefs? Was that week 7?
The Chiefs were they I thought they were 9-0, I think.
Were they?
I believe.
Let's go back.
Yeah, they were 9-0. They lost
Okay.
in week 11.
Yeah, so that okay, there's that run. Never mind. I was wrong
I was
about
gonna
that.
say, and then the Lions, I believe, were on an 11 game. The Eagles were on a
Yeah.
10 game. The Vikings are on an 8 game right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It God, it just stresses me out thinking about the Packers game. I don't know what Jordan Love we're gonna get. They're coming to Minnesota, so that's a bonus. That's the last playoff or home game of the year, barring us winning out. But if we get that 1 seed, Minnesota in the playoffs goes insane. Like
Oh,
it's already in the regular season one of the toughest stadiums to play at.
hold up. You play last week of the season in Ford Field.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say this right now. You are right. If the Vikings do get the 1 seed, I think that then the stadium's gonna be popping no matter what,
Yeah.
because they haven't seen something like that since the Timberwolves fucking last year.
Yeah, definitely. I guess our 2017 year, but that
Did
was
you guys
just for
even?
one game.
Did you guys have a home game that year?
Yeah, because it was the 8-team format. Both Eagles and Vikings both got a bye, and we played our divisional game at home against the Saints. That was the Minneapolis
Oh,
Miracle.
oh, I don't know why, but I always think that was in the dome.
And
In
right, the Metrodome.
yeah.
No, that was at U.S. Bank. I think that was the second or third year of U.S. Bank.
Oh. That
Because
play should have never happened. First of all, can we agree on that?
U.S. Bank.
No, that play, the Minneapolis Miracle.
I'm glad it did. I'm
I
not
mean,
saying it should have, but
I'm happy it happened, but that safety, he
th-
needed to get out of here.
that year, would you rather seen Drew Brees and the Saints or us?
Oh, Drew Brees and the Saints.
You'd rather see them?
Yeah,
Like you were more scared of the Vikings at that time?
100%. Case Keenum had that team fucking rolling for some reason.
Yeah, I don't. Case was balling that year.
Like, that sentence should never leave my mouth, but Case Keenum was fucking balling.
It's good he's in commercials now.
I'm so happy for him.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking we could probably end it here. We got to think of our forgotten quarterback that we used to love.
Mark Sanchez.
He did ball. He did ball for a couple years in New York.
Did ball, beat
He
Tom Brady in the playoffs.
he beat prime Tom Brady and prime Peyton Manning in the playoffs.
He was balling, man, with that fucking throw and that butt fumble. You know what I mean?
Back to back fucking NFC or AFC championship appearances.
That's good. That was back when the Jets were decent.
Yeah, for real. All right. We'll end it out with shout out Mark Sanchez.
Shout out, Big Marky Mark.